There's a coordinated global policy push for digital IDs as the new form of government-issued identification credentials. And they're essentially all based on your biometric data, which can be your fingerprints, your face, the iris of your eyeball. And the idea is essentially to collect all of that data and have it housed or have it tied directly to your digital ID. So your physical ID will be mapped to the digital ID. Digital IDs are not really a separate project from CBDCs and this new digital financial system. And UN documentation and also documentation from the Bank of International Settlements, they very overtly state that CBDCs and digital IDs are meant to go together. And without digital IDs, the CBDC digital finance system cannot exist. There's a coordinated global...
All right. We want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Lekakwadash. Want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, so we're back with another lesson. And this is going into the biometric trap, right? So you heard what she said, and I'm going to play this one more time before we get into it, all right?
Policy push for digital IDs as the new form of government-issued identification credentials. And they're essentially all based on your biometric data, which can be your fingerprints, your face, the iris of your eyeball. And the idea is essentially to collect all of that data and have it housed or have it tied directly to your digital ID. So your physical ID will be mapped to the digital ID. Digital IDs are not really a separate project from CBDCs and this new digital financial system. And UN documentation and also documentation from the Bank of International Settlements, they very overtly state that CBDCs and digital IDs are meant to go together. And without digital IDs, the CBDC digital finance system cannot exist. There's a coordinated...
So you see how she explains that this biometric is going to go right with your fingerprints, your eyeball. You know, they're going to have your basically your biological data, right? And you see how, notice how she said also that this is going to be tied to, you know, this goes hand in hand with the CBDC, which is the central bank digital system, right? That they're implementing, right? Which we know is the beast system, you know, part of the beast system that they're bringing in, right? That MOTB. All right. So, you know, this is basically a step before that. All right, they're you know, collecting. They're gonna collect data, right, in order to perform the next step. It's like going to boxing or going to, you know, UFC, whatever the case may be. You gotta get a license, right, in order to go fight, right. So what they do, you know, they get your weight, all right, you know, they get your data, Hispanic, height, or whatnot, you know. They put you on file, and now you're ready to go into that ring and to fight, right? So now that's what this biometric thing is about, right? You see how she said it's tied, okay? They go hand in hand with the CBDC, all right? So we know that this is a trap, right? They're going to tell you can't travel, all right? There's going to be a new form of ID, okay? But all that information, as she said, is going to be housed, all right? In what? In their data bank. All right, so Esau is just putting more, you know, invisible shackles, right, on the people, okay? And we know where this is going to lead to. Everybody else just thinks this is just, you know, normal, you know, just a new age, okay? Not understanding, all right, that this is, you know, prophecy, all right? The information is critical, because if you don't know what's going on, you're going to fall into that trap, all right? And Esau, right? Esau is a very, very cunning hunter, all right? He deals with gradualism, you see? And this is how he's gradually making people step forward, right? Until they fall into that trap, right? Of the MOTB, all right? They're being programmed, right? Slowly but surely, right? Unless you have the information that we have, which is what? The truth, right? Of the scriptures, okay? So let me get that. I'm going to get that word, right? That word gradually, right? And it says, gradually refers to things happening slowly in small stages, all right? Or by degrees over a long period rather than suddenly, you see? So they started with the biometrics, okay? They started first with the digital IDs. Now they're going to start with the biometrics, right? Next thing you know, right, the dollar crashes or whatnot, and they transition, right, into a digital system, okay? So this is how they're doing it gradually, right? It says it describes a steady, progressive change. You see how everything is uh, changing progressively, all right? And it says common synonyms include slowly, bit by bit, step by step, progressively, and moderate. All right. So this is what Esau is doing. This is how the snake moves, right? They move gradually. They're in the grass, all right, setting the trap, okay, until they're close enough to strike. You see? And that's Esau, man, because Esau is a cunning hunter. Matter of fact, let's get that. Let's go. I already had that out, right? Genesis 25 and 27.
There's the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
See that? So Esau was a cunning hunter. All right. Read that in the NLT.
As the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter.
Esau became a skillful hunter, right?
He was an outdoorsman, but Jacob had a quiet temperament, preferring to stay at home.
You see that? So Esau was out there. Esau was hunting, right? And in order to catch a prey, all right, you have to set traps, right? You have to be real stealthy, okay? And if you don't know your surroundings, right, you're not alerted, all right, as a prey, right? You can't hear the slightest change of wind or, you know, a leaf, the leaves moving or a bush, you know, a little stick cracking, you know, and you're not aware, all right, or alerted, okay, you're going to get caught up. Well, this word for us is that alertness, all right, where we could hear the steps of the predator, all right, and there's an escape, right, there's a way, right, because the Lord gave us a way. The Lord gave us the answers, right? This is a cheat code that we have through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Shai, his mercy, okay? But I also want to get that word cunning real quick, all right? So the word cunning means, right? Cunning refers to using skill, right? Because he was a cunning hunter, a skillful hunter, ingenuity or cleverness to achieve goals, typically through deceit, trickery, or evasion. You see? So Esau is cunning, man. See, deceit, right? Trickery or evasion, okay? It says it describes someone sly or crafty, a cunning plan, and this is what they're doing, right? They're planning that 15-minute cities, right? That new industrial evolution, right? The MOTB, okay? The new age, right? But they're doing it gradually, right? He's being cunning. That's in his nature, right? But can also mean being ingenuous or skillful. Synonyms include crafty, wily, shrewd, artful, and sly, all right? While antonyms include naive or ingenuous, right? So it says usage examples: deceptive, crafty. See, the thief used a cunning disguise to avoid detection. And guess what? Esau is the biggest thief in history. All right, and how many? This guy's the master of disguises, because you know, the Lord blinded us for the time being. Right? He took up the form of the Greeks. All right, he came, and now all of a sudden he's a J-double-O. Okay, he's the people of the Bible. All right, he's a South African, so-called white man, European, all that. He's everything but Esau. All right, many passports. This man is like what's his name? I forgot that movie, man, with not Matt Damon, the other one. It'll probably come back to me. But you know, in the movie, the dude was a spy, and he had about 10 passports, and he forgot who he was, right? Because he was under a program. All right, damn, now it's killing me because I watched that movie so many. Oh, there you go, Born Identity. All right, the Born Identity. Okay, this is who Esau is. All right, and it says strategic. Okay, clever. She plotted a cunning scheme to get the promotion. Right, you see that? So then when you go down to common synonyms, it says willy, right? Artful, mashi, mashi, villain, scheming, okay? Shrewd, sharp, witted, all right? Ingenuous, keen, craftiness, guile, artifice, foxship, all right? So this all describes what Esau does, man, okay? This man goes and you know, gives his $1 million speeches, okay, with his 3-piece suit, all right? Tell you this is the new way, paints everything good, dresses up shit, you know, with gold and sprays it down so you don't smell it, all right? But when you get to the root of it, all you find is a hot pile of shit, all right? And it's too late because you're in the middle of the mess, all right? So he traps you, man. All right, this is Esau, man. That's why the scripture says, never trust thine enemies, man. This biometric shit is a trap, right? It's all going to lead to the MOTB, all right? And we've broken down, and especially the elders on down, Revelations chapter 13 and verse 16 many times, tying these scriptures, right, to the current events, right? But what happened? This is all happening gradually, step by step. Why? Because Esau is a cunning hunter. All right? You see? But all those other camps that are teaching otherwise are going to have a big explanation to their peers, all right, on that day. Okay? So, let's go to the book of Isaiah. All right? Chapter 10 and verse 1.
There's the book of Isaiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees.
Woe unto them, okay? So these people are going to be destroyed, right? That decree unrighteous decrees. Why? Because what they have done is, as the scripture says, right? What has thou unto the wicked? What has thou to do with my covenant? Right? Seeing that you have put my words behind you, roughly paraphrasing, that's what they've done. All right? They told you that the laws are done away with, okay? And they wrote, you know, they've made their own laws, okay? You see that? They're telling you not to listen to the Lord, not to listen to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but you got to listen to them, all right? Go ahead.
And that right grievousness which they have prescribed.
You see that? And prescribed means they already had this. They already had this planned, all right? All right? Because every hunter has a plan, all right? Every hunter studies the prey, knows how they move, knows how they think, knows how they react, okay? So they got to set up a plan, okay? So to prescribe something was pre-written, all right? And it is grievous to the planet because all they're trying to do is further lock you down, all right? Them 15-minute cities, okay? Those biometrics are only going to work, right, for those 15-minute cities that you are locked in, right? If I try to go to beyond those 15-minute cities, whatever eye scan they do, I'm not from that zone, so I'm not going to be able to purchase anything or do anything there, right? I have to stay within my zone, okay? Sort of like the Hunger Games, you see? So these people are just trying to make a prison planet, all right? Which this is already a goddamn prison, all right? But now they're trying to make sectors, okay? So woe unto them. That's why the Lord is coming back to destroy them, all right? Let's get another one. Let's go to the book of Proverbs chapter 4, okay, and verse 16.
There's the book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall.
You see that? So these motherfuckers suffer from anxiety unless they done some wicked shit. All right? That's how they do it, man. You know? They're in their bed chambers just plotting, you know? These elites are just plotting day and night. All right? And they you know, their medicine is making sure that people are suffering, all right, under their grip. Okay?
For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence.
And see that? So for they eat the bread of wickedness, because they are the wicked, man. All right? And they drink the wine of violence, right? Because this is all these people know how to do, all right? Is create chaos, right? Uproars, tension, suffering, okay? As long as they're making money off your backs, right? They keep taking and taking, right? And these people are just straight wicked, man. They don't care about humanity, right? But this is all part of the plan, right? This is why the Lord is going to be justified to come back, right, and destroy these people, man. This is why the Lord is going to be justified to do Obadiah chapter 1 and 18, okay? Because all they know how to do is eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence, right? Esau, Edom is just beyond wicked, man. They're evil. They're just, if you look around, man, they're straight disgusting, right? All of them. If you an Edomite, you're disgusting, man. Okay? We're not going to put labels. You know, we know that we say the so-called white man, but there's going to be people from, you know, Israelites that look like them. Okay? But we're talking about the seed of Esau, man. The seed of Esau, Edom. All right? Those are the wicked. All right? And there's no changing it. All right? And that's why all you Israelites coming up against this truth are going to get caught up. Right? Y'all going to get caught up by this trap. All right? Y'all just going to want to keep living. Right? You know, the new age, new wave. Okay? Oh, y'all are just mad. Get a job. Okay, we're going to see. Right? Let's go to the book of Lamentation. Lamentations chapter 4. I'm going to start at verse 16.
There's a book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 16.
Salakia, start at 17.
In verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Right. We still, motherfuckers is still voting out there, okay? You know, hoping for peace, okay? Love is the remedy. What love? War and destruction is the remedy, all right? That's going to free us from this oppression when the Lord come back to destroy the same people that have been destroying us for over 500 years, okay? Not love, all right? That shit ain't going, that shit don't work, man. All right, Christianity has been here for more than 500 years talking about love, and it has done nothing but kept us in the bottom, getting our asses kicked, right? So the hell with all that, man. We want destruction. We're not looking towards this nation to save us or to make things better. You know what I mean? The war to end, the gas prices to go down. Hell no. Let the war intensify. Let these gas prices keep going up. Let the food keep going up, man. Let all this shit go into turmoil, man. Right? Let the economy collapse. Right? The food be scarce. Let the storehouses be unsown, as the prophecies say. Let the civil unrest come, civil war, all that. All right? Because the faster it comes, the faster we out of here, man. We're not looking towards this nation to save us. We're looking towards Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua to save us, man. And for Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua to destroy these people, man. Right?
They hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets.
You see that? They hunt our steps that we cannot go on our streets, man. All right? And now you see that when this biometric thing come and they set up, you know, through these cameras and everything, they're going to be able to have your information loaded within seconds, right? This is how they hunt you down, man. Esau is a cunning hunter, man. All right?
Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our prosecutors are swifter than the eagles.
Persecutors.
Persecutors are swifter than the eagles.
Our persecutors is swifter than the eagles, all right? And what did the Lord say? That he was going to send an enemy as swift as the eagle in Deuteronomy chapter 28, okay? What did it say in Obadiah, right? Obadiah chapter 1, that they're as proud as the eagle, right? Roughly paraphrasing. Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick before we continue. I don't want to butcher it. Let's go to the book of Obadiah. I believe it's in right there. Read verse 4.
There's the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
See that? So you exalt yourself as the eagle. All right? You exalt yourself as the eagle. All right? And that's why here is saying that, you know, that our persecutors, read that again, 4:19.
There's the book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 19. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven.
You see that? They're swifter than the eagles, right? Because the eagle is known as a great hunter, right? Shit, the eagle will be circling around. A fox could have a rabbit in his mouth or whatever, right? The eagle will come swooping down real fast and take that shit right out of his mouth and keep flying, right? Or an eagle will see a goat at the top of the mountain, close to the edge, come real quick and just knock it right off and then go downstairs, go down there and eat it, man. He's swift, all right? He's a swift hunter.
They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness.
You see that? So this is the nature of these people, and they've been at it with us for from the beginning, from Genesis, since he sold his birthright and since Jacob received that blessing from Isaac, okay, where he said my father's days are at hand, and then I shall mourn and then I shall slay my brother Jacob, right? Roughly paraphrasing. So he's been wanting to take us out, right? From the beginning, because of that birthright and because of that blessing, right? He was wroth, man. All right? This is the reason why, man, they've been hunting us down. You see? And that was a skill he possessed from the beginning. All right? So all the evidence points to Esau, Edom, man. But going back to what we're talking about, this biometric system is a trap. It's another way, right, to lock you down. All right, if you're not aware of what's happening, it's like that trap with the cheese. Okay, all the mouse sees is the cheese. He don't see the mechanism, right, that he's about to step on. All right, and that's you 2/3 Israelites, right? You guys are about to grab the cheese, and you don't see what's the trap behind it. Okay, but as the scripture says, right, we are not ignorant to Satan's devices, all right, and that's the 1/3, the elect, all right, that has had their spiritual eyesight open to the truth, okay? So let's go to the book of Psalms, all right, let's go to book Psalms 124, let's start at verse 6.
There's a book of Psalms, chapter 124 and verse 6. Blessed be the Lord, who hath not given us as a prey to their teeth.
You see that? And how did that happen? Right? By giving us this truth. That was the ultimate mercy for us to see who Esau Edom is. For us to know, right, that we are Jacob. That Jacob's trouble is coming. The MOTB. All right? Understanding step by step how this is happening. All right? Being in this watchtower, right? And warning the people. And also being blessed, right, with being directed into the correct camp, right? Because we learn under GMS, all right? So that's a blessing right there. We could have been learning under IUIC, hearing some madness, all right? Not paying attention to some biometrics or ISUPK, right? Talk about some white woman or some other bullshit, okay? But no, we under the right leadership, all right? And that's how the Lord blessed us, not giving us to the teeth of the prey, man, right? Right, giving us as a prey, Salakia. He didn't give us as a prey to their teeth, all right?
Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers.
You see that? Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. Let me grab something real quick, all right? Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 6.
There's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul.
You see that? Right? So this is how we're going to deliver our soul. We have separated ourselves, all right? We have found out, we have received the information, okay? And to separate, all right? To flee is to separate, all right? Don't mean to take a ship, to take a train and leave, or swim 1,000 miles into another island. Don't mean that. All right, it means to spiritually separate, okay? We no longer celebrate. We no longer do the things that we were doing here in Babylon, all right? Which is what? Which makes us holy. You know, we're still in these chains of darkness. Our righteousness is as filthy rags, but, you know, we are holier than the people that are here, right? Due to the truth and due to the separation we have made, right? With this current society. Okay?
Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
You see that? And if you are still tied to Babylon spiritually, you're gonna be cut off. So you're gonna get caught by the fowler, which is Esau, because the Lord is gonna send Esau, right? Which is the sword, okay, to bring in Jacob's trouble. All right. So understand that this is the only way you're going to escape, right? That judgment. So let's go back to Psalms 124. All right. And read me 7 again.
There's the book of Psalms chapter 124 and verse 7. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken and we are escaped.
You see that? And we are escaped, right? Because they try to lay that trap, but we're not blind no more. Right? We're not in gross darkness. Okay? Why?
Our help is in the name of the Lord.
Hold up, though. I thought that the name of the Lord wasn't important. Okay? Read that again.
Our help is in the name of the Lord, who made heaven and earth.
So our help is in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. All right? On that name, you have to call on in those days that are coming, man. Okay? Understand, Esau is making moves. All right? And by strength shall no man be saved. All we're going to have is faith and the mercy of the Lord along with his names. Right? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Okay? If you don't have that, all right, you're done. You're going to get caught up, man. You're going to be in the fowler's net. Right? You're going, the biometrics, you're going to eventually take that MOTB, right? Revelations 13 and 16, and you're going to be destroyed by the nuclear fire, man, or by the teeth of the wild beast, or by hunger, all right, or by Esau, whichever one the Lord chooses. You see? So, let's get one more. Let's go to the book of Psalms, right? Chapter 91. Start at verse 1.
There's the book of Psalms, chapter 91 and verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
And that secret place is the secret council, right? If you don't have this truth, you're in the congregation of the dead. You have no protection, right? So that secret place is here, right? The secret council. If you reject this truth, you have rejected, right, that doorway. You rejected Yahweh Shai, all right? Meaning, guess what? Now you're in the outer courts, okay?
I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress.
You see that? My fortress. A fortress is where you go, right, for protection, all right? But the door is Yahweh Shai. If you reject this truth, you rejected him, right?
My power, in Him will I trust.
In him will I trust. Go ahead.
Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler.
You see that? From the snare of the fowlers. In this biometric system is a snare, right? For you to further take a step into the MOTB, all right?
And from the noisome pestilence.
You see that? So the only way out is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? There's no other remedy, there's no other answer. All right? No matter how you try to play it, all right, you're only playing yourself. Okay? And that's a lesson right there. Right? No matter how you play it, you're only playing yourself. All right? Because the only way out is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? So let's close it out, right? With the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2. Let me see. Con, let's start at verse 7.
There's the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, and verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way.
So the Lord's going to let them do what they got to do until he decides to take them out the way, because there's an appointed time. Remember, the Lord said in the book of Job, right, that he had set he has set boundaries that he cannot pass. All right? So the Lord's allowing him to do this to fulfill prophecy. Why? And then what? Go ahead.
And then shall that wicked be revealed.
And he's being revealed right now. There's no other suspect that matches all the characteristics of Esau, right? And the wicked of the Bible, okay? Is the so-called white man, all right, in rulership right now.
Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
And he's doing that as we speak right now. Okay, these words that we're speaking is consuming, right? Esau, right? And all the brothers and the elders, right? This has been consuming them, all right? The prophecies, right, that are being brought out by the prophets.
And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
You see that? So when the Lord come back with what you call a UFO, right, in them chariots with the angels, all right, he's going to destroy this man. 2nd Ezra chapter 13, right?
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan.
You see that? So this man is coming after the workings of Satan. All right? Go ahead.
With all power and signs and lying wonders.
Right, because this biometrics is also connected to the neural link, the MOTB, the C-hip, okay? And that's going to perform miracles on the left-hand side. People are going to be able to walk. People are going to be able to see, all right? All types of BS, okay? But they are lying wonders, okay?
And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness, and them that perish.
Right, because where there is no vision, the people perish. You see? Where there is no vision, the people perish, and you people cannot see what Esau Edom is doing right now, okay?
Because they receive not the love of the truth.
Read that one more time.
Because they receive not the love of the truth.
You rejected that door, man, to that fortress, Yahweh Shai, right? The door was open and you turned your back, right? So now the door is slowly closing, right? And once that door closes, there's no mercy for you, okay?
That they might be saved.
That they might be saved. And who you got to be saved from? Your enemies. Esau Edom is at the top of the list, leading the charge, right?
And for this cause, Yahweh shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
Right, Christianity, God love everybody. Okay, the white man could be saved. The white man is okay. All right, don't hate. Right, all love, no war. Okay, that's all a lie. Right, the white man is the chosen. That's all a lie. White Jesus, a lie. Okay, Christianity, Catholicism, a lie. Okay, all lies.
That they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
Right. And this is why you want this society to keep going. This is why you're down for this biometric system. We're down for the biometric system, but we're down for it because we want the end to come. You down for the biometric system because you want life to be prolonged here. All right, let's go into the next phase, okay? Like I said, a new age, new wave, Let's just live it up, all right? You don't want this place to end. You see? So there's two different reasons why people want this to come. We want it to come for the end. You want it to come for your pleasures, all right? Whatever the white man do, fuck it. Let's go along with it, right? We're already here, okay? As long as we get to smoke cigarettes, drink liquor, right? Go out, commit adultery, all right? Go party our asses off on the weekends, right? Sell drugs, do whatever. As long as we could do all that, okay, we'll be Christians on Sundays and take whatever the white man gives us, right? But the biometric system is a trap, and it's going to lead to Revelations 13 and 16, right? Which that is going to lead to what? Your destruction, okay? So, Lord willing, this was edifying, and with that, we're going to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom.
Shalom.
Abba Abba.
Abba.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwame Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.